I think, first of all, it's an open police investigation, so I'm limited in what I can say. But I want to reassure everyone we're deeply committed to safety, and I want to share the facts that I can. So I can confirm that a former Uber partner driver was arrested. In the lead up to the attacks, his profile was never matched with any of the victims. In the lead up to his arrest, he was not active on our platform. He held a valid professional driver's permit. In order to qualify for that, you need to go through a criminal screening process. And in addition to that, he went through third-party independent criminal background checks, and there was no criminal record in his history. I do trust our systems. We're doing millions of trips on the platform. One incident is one incident too many, but these are isolated incidences. There are thousands of driver partners on the platform, but providing people with safe and reliable rides every day.
I know the lady, we interviewed the lady Susan Day, who I think was interacting with you at one point as well. And she said that she'd gone to Uber in the immediate aftermath of this, and she'd been actually quite disappointed that she was called by an international office and told she mustn't interact with Uber SA anymore. And her big heartbreak is that she was warning, because it was the same individual who was involved in her attack, who was subsequently involved in the rape and attack of that young Indian couple, the black lady who was, and the other lady who jumped out the car. There's about 5 or 6 complainants all in this one case. And she's saying that her heartbreak is that Uber was seemingly just closed ranks and didn't want to assist. Do you have any response to that?
I don't think that's accurate. As soon as we were made aware of the unfortunate incident, we reached out to Susan. We have a professional team that deals with these sorts of incidences globally, and they were the team who first made contact. As soon as we knew that Susan wanted someone from the local team to reach out, I personally reached out to her, and we had multiple conversations. She has my contact number if she wants to contact me. I think there was some confusion because at a stage there was talk of a lawsuit, and obviously if that happens then we can't interact directly, so that's maybe when communication broke down. But we did reach out straight away. We did offer our support, and that holds true for every individual that we're aware of.
She and a number of the other people who have attacked have got ride receipts. I mean, I have a copy of the ride receipt. So they're attacked, and then they get the ride receipt from Uber, after she was raped, which suggests that this person, who you say is no longer a member of Uber, was actually utilizing your platform.
As I mentioned before, these individuals were never matched with the driver who's been arrested. What we are encouraging people to do is to check the details of both the vehicle and the driver before they get into a car, even if the individual claims to be an Uber driver.
A number of the people, I mean not in her case, but a number of the people who do use your service are oftentimes quite inebriated. Are you concerned about that in terms of people being able to...
So I think going to what we have done, as soon as we were made aware of the initial incident, we've focused on safety comms to the rider base across South Africa, reminding them of the safety features, reminding them to check those details, as I mentioned before, ensuring that you check the details of the vehicle, the details of the driver. We also have functionality known as Share Your ETA, which allows you to send a link of your trip to another person so they can monitor your trip remotely, even if you're traveling by yourself.
And when did these things come into place?
So all that functionality has been in place over the last year at least, if not longer. I mean, the functionality of checking your driver details and the vehicle details has always been a function available within the Uber app. Share Your ETA has been available for probably at least 2 years. So these are not new functions. They've always been available. Some things that we have introduced recently are vehicle color into the application. So we're rolling that out across South Africa, making it easier for you to identify the vehicle that's coming to collect you. We're trialing an SOS button in vehicles in Johannesburg. Right now it's limited to the driver pool. It's connected to a control room, which will then dispatch either armed or medical response in the event of an emergency. We've also trialed AV cams in Cape Town. That's been in process for at least 3 months, so long before anything happened on the platform, just to again test if this reduces the likelihood of an incident occurring on the platform. We've recently hired, and again this was in play for long before, you can check the job postings, a new head of physical security for Sub-Saharan Africa. His name's Dion Toy. He comes with over 20 years of security experience, previously heading up security at both Standard Bank and De Beers.
And a huge part, I mean, I use Uber all the time. I don't drink, but it's a huge, all the time. And a big part of why I use Uber is the safety aspect, because I have been in other taxis where I've really felt unsafe. How much is this whole thing hurting you as a brand, do you think?
So I think people do realize that these are isolated incidences. As I mentioned, there are thousands of trips happening on the platform, thousands of drivers on the platform providing people with safe, reliable rides. And on the whole, the feedback is extremely positive. Driver partners on the platform have ratings of 4.6 or higher. As I mentioned earlier, every driver on the platform goes through an independent third-party background check, in addition to holding valid professional driver's permits.
But if it is the case that this person, somehow that this driver's identity was utilized by a third party to carry out crime, what kind of mechanisms exist to prevent that from happening? Because that might be a major
I think that's speculation at this stage, and I'm not going to feed into that. Something which we have introduced is two-factor authorization for driver partners, meaning that in the same way you have to validate your account with a one-time PIN, you would have to validate your driver account with a unique code.
Yeah, because this is what concerns me. I totally hear you, but these guys are getting ride receipts. They're getting, I mean, I've seen the physical copies, and they were following. So there was clearly someone utilizing software that led people to believe that there was an Uber, and that seems to be the major issue.
Again, I think this is speculation. There's an open police investigation, and I'm not going to comment further.
Are you guys doing an investigation?
We're cooperating with the police in any way that we can. We're not law enforcement, but we're providing them with any data that we can. And I know the police have stated multiple times that they were able to make an arrest given the close cooperation with Uber. So if it's any form of consolation, not that it makes it right in any way, the reason that the arrests were made was as a result of our technology.
Yeah, because I mean, I would imagine that if it's a gap in your system in terms of your software, I don't think the police are necessarily placed to understand what went wrong here. You guys would be the ones.
Again, I think that's speculation. What I am saying is that we are cooperating with the police. Any data, any information which they've requested, we have provided. So we're assisting with the investigation in any way that we can.
Can you at this point give the South African public an assurance that this is not going to happen to someone else?
So again, we're talking about millions of rides happening on the platform. No form of transport can be 100% safe. We are deeply committed to safety, and we're doing whatever we can to minimize the likelihood of an incident or an accident happening on the platform, but I can't speak in absolutes.